Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're back. We're doing a best of 3 M21 draft. Okay, draft is fired. Let's see what we got here. Got a good pack. Thieves Guild Enforcer, good for, I guess, a mill deck. Yeah, good for a mill deck. Watcher of the Spheres, good for blue-white skies. Experimental Overload, good for, is it spells? Basri's Acolyte is kind of just safe white pick. But I think early on you do take the strongest card, even if you don't end up in that color combination. So which one do I like the most? I like the Watcher of the Spheres quite a bit because it's a 2-drop flyer. It's not reliant on having instant sorcery cards in your graveyard to get the weird, and then getting something back is very good. Upside on Overload is huge, but Watcher of the Spheres is good on its own in that deck. So it is 2 color on a first pick, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think you just take it, and if that archetype is open, you're going to be really happy that you got it right away. Obviously, yeah, Acolyte maybe like a safe pick for white, but on your first pick, you have no idea what you're going into. So you just figure it out as you go here. Follow-up pick. Solidarity, probably good for the Skies deck. Kinetic Augur, great is it card. Or any spells deck, actually. Any red X spells deck. Augur's probably the strongest card here. Even over Solidarity. Solidarity might go better with the first pick, but I don't know how I feel about Solidarity. It's pretty good. I feel like if you're running a lot of creatures, you're happy to run it. Other notable picks in here. You know, Opt is always playable, but it feels way too early to take that. I feel as though Augur is probably better than Solidarity. Solidarity is just better with our first pick. How close are Solidarity and Augur? Augur is, I would say, significantly better than Solidarity. But I'm going to go for the Solidarity. A slightly weaker pick that goes better with our first pick. Just because I could actually see those two being played together. So I kind of like that. We can take the Singer here. It gets cheaper with Watcher of the Sphere. It's good with Solidarity. There's Gormand in here, which is good. Enforcer would be a great wheel. Battlements is going to be good in this deck if we can wheel either of those. I think Enforcer usually does wheel. I'm okay taking Singer here. We're giving up Gormand for it, which is actually a pretty good 6-drop, but I'm happy enough taking a Singer and getting a good flyer out of this. Lofty Denial rapidly becomes an excellent counterspell in a deck like this. Strongest card is probably like Garrick's Uprising for the Gruul deck. I really like Arsonist. Rousing Reed is good. And nothing else super of note here. Battle Rattle Shaman's playable, but we'll take the Lofty Denial. I think we're off to a good start here with the Flyers. I'd like the Pegasus, but we're going to slam a Rain of Revelation. Kind of good sign for blue. 5th pick Rain, because that card is really strong. But yeah, we'll hopefully wheel a Pegasus. Probably it's going to be... You never know what you're going to wheel this on pick 5 here. So, but we'll take the Rain. And the Pegasus would definitely be playable in here. You could take the Larcenist. I'm kind of okay taking the Battlements. If I'm going Skies, I would say Battlements is going to be really good for us. We only have 2 flyers currently, so this could still backfire on us. And we could just take the Larcenist. But even if we end up with some ground guys, I'm probably just going to have to be okay with that. Like, if we end up with some white ground guys, I'm going to have to just be okay with that. Best card in here. Maybe the Larcenist. Blood Glutton's only... It's playable for black-white life gain. Rise Against playable for the right archetype. Res, and then Dreadmaw. We'll take the Battlements. Okay, pick now. We can take the Wall of Runes. I mean, it can block on the ground. We can take Defiant Strike. It's good with Prowess. If you get enough of them, you can run less lands. That is true. Kind of okay taking it. Wishcoin Crab and Wall of Runes are kind of whatever. Could actually take the Crag. There might be something in red I'd consider splashing. So it might be worth our time. So we can take the Sky Scanner here. It works well with the Battlements. It's good with the Watcher of the Spheres. Yeah, I like that. It's good with the solidarity, too. So, I don't really like Tome Anima very much. We can take it to cut blue. It technically is evasive. We might want it. I mean, it gets bigger. We definitely want quite a few creatures if we're going to run the Battlement Solidarity plan. So, I'll take the Tome Anima over Barons. And it could work out. Secure the Scene, not likely to play it, at least in the main deck. But I'm not really feeling like this is a Megalodon deck either. So we'll probably take Secure the Scene for sideboard. So we did get the Enforcer on the wheel, which is a good sign. We already have 3 flyers. We're certainly hoping to find some more. We'll take it. Rugged Highlands. I mean, we don't need any of these, so we'll just pass them and take a Highlands that we don't need either. Rookie Mistake. Haven't seen it played, haven't played with it, but I guess in theory it is a playable card. Probably not something I'd prefer to main deck. Second to last pick, Larcenous, is a good sign for blue because Larcenous is very playable. Alright, Veto in here, which is good. Probably just want the Acolyte. There's Capture Sphere, which is removal, which we currently do not have. I guess you can count Enforcer as removal and maybe Denial to a lesser extent. But you can't go wrong with Acolyte when you're in white. You're always happy to have it. Unless you're running some deck that doesn't have any creatures, I guess. But yeah, Veto would be great for the black-white life gain deck. But pretty happily taking a first pick Acolyte and never looking back. Alright. So now there is Swift Response, which is actually very good for a deck like this because it's cheap removal. And when you're flying over top, it's just nice to be able to kill their ground attackers. Unsubstantiate is certainly playable, but I want Swift Response more. It's more permanent removal rather than tempo. And Niambi is just, we don't even have legends, and it's just it's not a very good rare, unfortunately. I mean, I guess it's cool that you can save a creature with it. Maybe we wheel it, and then I would actually play it as something in response to your removal. I can flash it in, return something, and gain life. Yeah, you know what? It probably, and you can, I guess you can like block, then return, chump block, return, get more into the battlefield effects like with Skyscanner. All right, maybe I convinced myself it's more playable than I gave it credit for, but we're still taking Swift Response there. All right, I love Feat of Resistance, one of my favorite cards. Currently rocking 8 creatures. Like I said, I want quite a few in order to make this deck work, but I really have a hard time passing Feat. It is an excellent card. A combat trick, good on against removal, good to get through in a pinch. It's just valuable to have. I want the Charger too, but I'm going to take the Feat. Light of Promise is cool. There's another Larcenist here. Tide Skimmer, I think we have to take it. Fits in too well with what we're trying to do to not take. But passing a Feat hurts a little bit, but we're getting a great upside card for us, so we'll take the Skimmer. All right, I'm fine taking the Wingmare here. We want more flyers. We don't have a ton of non-creatures. We certainly have non-creature spells, but we're also going to be hurting our opponent with it. Otherwise, we'd take the Enforcer, but I think Wingmare makes sense. If you're going to go Skies, you go all in Skies. You get in there. If we could wheel a Cove, a Battlements, an Enforcer, any of those would be great wheels. We'll take the Wingmare for now, though. Gaggle Master is just an amazing pickup for us. Just a super strong flyer. It works great with what we're trying to do. Adept would be playable in here, obviously. And that's also good with the Solidarity. And good with Watcher of the Spheres. You just spit out a token that pumps this. I like that. But let's take Gaggle Master. Okay, so here we've got... That's a late Mentor. We can take the Charger. It's a cheap beater. We can take Glide Master, but most of our guys fly anyway, so I don't really like that. I'd rather have the 2-drop that can trade and lets my flyer deal more damage. I think that makes sense. Face Fetters, just a tremendously strong card. Very happy to have that. Getting that. So we happen to just kind of luck into some good colors here, I think. So we do the short sword. We already have a Secure the Scene. Siding in multiples of those seems really unlikely, so we'll take the short sword. I don't think we want short sword, though. We did get Niambi back. We're going to play Niambi. I'm going to give it a try. I mean, I like the idea of even bouncing an Acolyte. Like, I actually think we're going to... Or we have some Into the Battlefield stuff. We're going to end up getting value out of this somehow. We don't have any legends, but just as like a flash, save a creature, or get another Into the Battlefield effect. Nyambi's actually going to do something. Got the Charger back, which is a great sign. I'd like to cut Anima, because we don't have a ton of ways to draw cards. And I don't really want to run Larcenist in here either, because we don't have a lot of ways to tap down or tempo or anything like that. We don't have a lot of lifelink or ways to gain life, so I don't really need either of these. Maybe Revitalize out of the sideboard. I mean, we have Acolyte and we have Face Fetters, 2 cards that work with Light of Promise, but we'll take... I don't think it's going to make the deck. Getting the Battlements back is a great sign. This is kind of an optimal deck for it, I think. This is where it's at its best. We're going to cut the Revitalize for now, because I just don't think we need it. But yeah, this is a great Battlements deck. Got the Enforcer back. We're getting all the cards we want, which is great. We're going to be hard-pressed to make some cuts here. I think the Larcenist can go now. We're going to take the Adept and be happy enough about that. I don't need the Insight. We'll probably wheel another Battlements anyway, which is really good with Adept too. Yeah, I like that. Teferi. Tough to go wrong when you get past the Planeswalker with awesome abilities. Yeah, you can just use... I haven't even gotten a chance to play with Teferi this whole M21 yet. So we're taking over a Singer, which I would definitely like, but I don't think... I think it's just kind of an obvious pick here. Take the Teferi. Gagglemaster number 2, what a gift. I think we're even going to wheel another Enforcer, which I'd probably play. So we can take Gale Swooper. I kind of want the cheaper... We don't have a lot of cheap creatures, so I'm probably taking the Pegasus over the Gale Swooper, just because we're a little 3-4 drop heavy already. And getting as many creatures out there as we can for this Solidarity is probably a good idea. Otherwise, we could take Unsubstantiate, but the more creatures, the better with Solidarity and with like Watcher and their Flyers and Vryn Wingmare. Like, we want a lot of creatures, so I'm going to take the Pegasus. So we can take Capture Sphere. It is removal. It makes sense. We're pretty removal light too, so no problems there. We'll take it. We've got the best problem you can have, which is we have an amazing deck and too many good cards. I don't need any of this. Judgment out of sideboard seems the most likely, I guess. Protege is playable. It's just we've got kind of better things going on. We got a second Watcher now. I mean, we have just been really gifted a great deck here. Definitely taking it over the second Solidarity. Selfless Savior is a very good card. I really like it. Sanctum's playable. We don't have any other ones. We don't need it. Frost Breath would actually be really good in here too. But I love Savior. It's just like a great card. Good with Solidarity too. So here, I think it's just an easy third Battlements. I don't even know if do we even need that many Battlements? Probably not. But I'm certainly not going to take them out yet. Yeah, we've got a great deck here. Way too many good cards. I love that problem. All right, don't need any of this. Maybe Watchdog in case. Just because I already have... I'm already cutting Larcenist, so I don't know why I would take another one there. Don't need Tome Anima, but we'll take it anyway, I guess. Arcanist does make some stuff cheaper. Probably not a lot, but like I said, I don't need a second Secure the Scene. I'll take the Cancel. It's a good sideboard card to have. I'll take a Defiant Strike. Not going to happen, really, but that's all right. So we have a great deck. Really, really strong deck here. And we have a lot of cuts to make. So we have too many 4-drops already. We probably don't need the Face Fetters and the Capture Sphere. I'd much rather cut the Sphere, obviously. How many creatures do we have? We have 20. 27 cards in our deck. How many Flyers total do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 sort of. 8, 9, 10. 10 flyers is good. So I'm obviously not cutting any flyers. I really don't want to cut the Chargers. I'd probably cut the battlements before the Chargers, even though I kind of like the battlements in here. It's just we have so many good cards, it feels like you probably cut at least a couple battlements. They also don't get a ton of value from Solidarity. I mean, they are good in this deck, don't get me wrong. It doesn't make sense for us, I don't think. I don't know what to cut in here. It never feels right to cut the feet. Never feels right to cut the Face Fetters. Obviously not cutting Teferi. Never right to cut a Reign of Revelation. Am I cutting a Falconer Adept? It's a great card. But we're 4-drop heavy. The Enforcers to me make a lot of sense when you have 10 flyers. These are just going to be able to tap stuff down. We want the 17 lands because of that. We want to make use of our mana. We have some card draw. I really don't want to cut the Chargers, but we have so many flyers. I could see it making sense. I don't want to cut Niambi because they're cool with Gaggle Masters in response to removal. They're cool with Acolyte. Cool with Charger. Skyscanner. I could see cutting the Adept, but I don't love it. It probably makes more sense to even cut another battlement. This is such a good battlement deck, but I feel like we just have better things going on. Like I can cut a Charger and a battlement, but how badly do I want Adept in here? I mean, Adept has to survive its attack, too. That's the problem. We don't have a lot of disruption on the ground. We do have Solidarity, which is going to be good with it. It's good with Watcher because it spits out a token that buffs the Watcher. But we just don't have a lot of means to protect Falconer Adept. We don't have, like, tempo-y cards. It is cool with Tide Skimmer, but since they come in tapped and attacking, we actually don't immediately get the card draw. I think there's a reasonable argument to cut the Adept. I think there's a reasonable argument to cut the Adept and either bring in the Battlement or the Charger. And I guess it's probably the Charger just because it can buff our flyer and it's a good blocker on the ground. Okay. It's probably a better blocker on the ground than Battlements. I'm not thrilled about cutting Battlements because I really like them in this deck, but this deck is got a lot of good things going on. We don't have any mana fixing. Not going to see me complain about that. We'll definitely err towards white. Probably 9, 8. We do still need the blue on turn 2, so great deck. Really nice looking Blue-Eyed Skies deck, so happy. Tons of good sideboard options. Judgment. Bears, I guess, if I need them. Secure the Scene for just bombs I can't deal with. Cancel for big spells. Capture Sphere if I need it. I mean, we're cutting Capture Sphere. We're in good shape, I think. This is a cool deck. All right, we'll see you round 1. All right, we'll play first in round 1 here. We can keep this. Great hand. Watcher into Skyscanner. Hopefully find our third land. Already found it. That's a good sign. So now we can go Skyscanner and maybe even draw another land, get that Gaggle Master online. Chaw Rail's a good one. We can kill that, though, which is nice. But I guess we'll do Skyscanner first. Alright, that's cool. So now we can go Gaggle Master and gain just like a boatload of life. And like I said, we can Swift Response, Jaw Rail, which I probably do. They are going to spit out a cat here. but I think we probably kill Jaw Rail as quick as we can. As much as I want to get this 4-3 out. Another. I mean, if I just go Gaggle Master into... We probably just go for the race, actually. I mean, how can we not? Like, they're going to be hard-pressed to draw more cards and still be able to race us. And Gaggle Master into Gaggle Master, I mean, we're drawing a boatload of life, too. Is Solidarity a little bit too win more for us? Probably not. I mean, if we didn't have Gaggle Masters here, I would definitely be casting Response Solidarity. So, yeah, and they can't even attack now. And we just go... We actually don't have the mana to go Watcher Gaggle Master, which is unfortunate, but we probably just go Watcher Solidarity. Yeah, that's insane. How do they even beat that? Yeah. So they have Rousing Reed. They've got Jaw Rail. Sideboard options. Judgment. If we see some fatties, did we see a fatty that game? Yeah, we saw the Waker. And that one's actually debatable that we would want to bring in the Judgment because Fate's Fetters is not that great against it. I mean, it stops it as a blocker, but all of our guys' power is still negged, so I don't like that. I mean, I assume at that point would I rather just have a cancel because it's going to deal with more things than a Judgment, and I can counter anything, and I'm only paying. But am I really taking out a Fate's Fetters for a cancel? I don't like that either. Especially when I already have a Lofty Denial for their 7-drop. And I can tap it, so I don't think we need the Capture Sphere. I don't know what the weakest card in our deck is that would be against our opponent either. Like, if they have no removal, Savior is a little bit less exciting. Same with Niambi. I can discard my Teferi to draw 2 cards. I guess there's possible times you would do that. I think we keep it the same. We have the means to tap their 7-drop with Celestial Enforcers. It just doesn't feel right to bring in a cancel over like a Fate's Fetters or anything like that. Obviously, good hand. We're not going to hold back on the Charger to try and get full value. All right. So Charger into Enforcer or Skyscanner. Probably Skyscanner into Acolyte. That way we've got a beefed up flyer. Did they change their colors that they're playing, or am I out of my mind? It might be it could be a Shrine deck, or they could be Splashing Jaw Rail. No, Splashing Jaw Rail seems pretty crazy. They're probably a... That's a weird concession, but I guess we'll take it. All right, we'll see you round 2. All right, we're going to mulligan this one. Our deck can do better than that. This one we'll keep, and we'll probably dump a... Actually, I don't know. I don't want to dump an island, but do I dump an island? We need to get to 4 is the problem. I could dump the Savior, but that doesn't seem great when you got the Acolyte. because we need actual bodies to put it on. It doesn't feel right to get rid of a land either. I can't get rid of Skimmer. Swift Response? I guess I get rid of Savior. Weird because I can play it turn 1. It's a great card, but Swift Response maybe buys me time against things I can't deal with. And I guess I'd rather put counters on flyers, so... I can, I guess, pretty comfortably Swift Response that. And no play. And a good draw. Very nice. So then we can go Skimmer. We can hold off on Teferi. We're not even in a rush to play it. That's a good draw. So we'll get in. Play the Skimmer. And then we can Acolyte. Draw cards. So if I draw the land, I slam the Gaggle Master. If I don't draw lands... Well, now I kind of want to do Charger. I mean, I can do Teferi on an empty board. I don't want to draw or discard any of this. It makes the best use of mana. I can activate abilities on their turn. It's probably wrong to not play Teferi here. So we'll draw, and we'll discard the... I guess we discard the Charger. Because I can't make a double play anyway off of it. Enforcer can tap stuff down. I can do Teferi on their turn, which I have to remember too. Pretty important detail here. Main deck, Secure the Scene. Well, I can draw, discard, and response. I don't want to lose any of these cards, though, is the problem. I guess we do it anyway, just because, like, we get rid of the worst card. So... I can play the Gaggle Master, or I can play the Acolyte next turn. I think I'm actually going to ditch the land, because I can, even though I can't play, I can still play Gaggle Master. Alright, I play Gaggle Master then. Because of the Tide Skimmer. One card left in their hand. Pretty good. Draw. Alright, so they concede. So Boros, presumably Boros aggro. We saw the Hobble Fiend, we saw Magmut. They're probably aggressive. They're running Secure the Scene, though, which is weird. I mean, that's kind of a prime example of why Secure the Scene, I guess, is not that good of a card. They take out Teferi, which is obviously good for them, but they still netted a creature. Not that the creature did that much. I guess it was okay for them there. It's just... We had so much more going on than Teferi that it was like eating up their, just Teferi in general, eating up their turn, having to deal with it was enough for us to win. Battlements can block, which is nice, because then we can still fly over top. But we've got the life gain with the Fetters and the double Gaggle Master and the Acolyte. Like, I'm kind of happy with where we're at. We don't need a dog. It doesn't synergize. It doesn't do anything. Adept would probably be okay, but I think we keep it the way it is. Maybe Bren Wingmare is worse if they're more creatures than we are. Because it's just a 2/1. Like, and if they're more creatures than non-creatures, it kind of doesn't feel that good, but alright, we'll keep this. Alright, Lofty Denial is actually kind of a good draw. Alright, Tempered Veteran. So we're already at 4 mana, which is good. Can go like Skimmer into Acolyte maybe. Kind of want them to tap out here. Ideally. So I can counter it. Alright, that's good news. Especially since we didn't have anything else going on there. Alright, well, now we probably go Niambi into Skimmer into Acolyte. I mean, I can also... I think it's too much setup to go like Skimmer into Acolyte into Niambi into Acolyte. It's kind of cool, but I don't think it's worth it. So we'll just play it. Jam the Skimmer. We'll pass. If they want to shock that, it's okay. I probably still jam an Acolyte, even if they kill one of our creatures. Can always discard Teferi. I'm going to take the Cur, because I want 2 creatures on board. And I really hope they just put mana into it. That would be my favorite thing they could do. So they have a play, which is still fine. If they tap out, we can... Acolyte's going to do some work. No play is a little bit weirder, because now it kind of means they do have removal, but probably just still jam an Acolyte. Like, they shock Niambi, that's okay. We're still going to be pumping our Skimmer and have a 3/4 flyer and a 2/3 lifelink. I'm okay with that. They could Scorching Dragonfire the Tide Skimmer, which certainly does more work. I feel like it's just a shock, though. Yeah. This is fine. We still net value. We get in for 3. We've got an Acolyte on defense. Their attack into Acolyte isn't even that good, because they have to pay mana for it. They can pay mana to trade. They're also missing land drops, which I suppose I should have mentioned. Now I kind of don't want to make the trade, because we've got more. They're a little resource starved. Although at this point with Teferi, maybe it makes sense. Yeah, they have to pay. They have to use their turn. We're gonna have Teferi. I like it more. Sure. Haggle Master is just such a smooth draw. So say I didn't block there, they wouldn't play the Sure Strike. They would still have it on defense if I attacked with my Acolyte, so I'm okay with that too. But now we threaten card draw plus 7 damage in the air, so they've got to do something. Yeah, I think they're in pretty big trouble. I definitely would have attacked with the Cur first, but it doesn't matter. All right, so there's Watcher. We can't do both. We could play Rain, and we probably draw land. It has to be the right land, though, and then we could play Watcher. Well, why don't we just attack first, because we're drawing a card. Yeah, so now we can go Watcher and leave up Reign of Revelation, or we can play Faith's Fetters. Or, I mean, couldn't do Teferi. This is tapped and attacking, so we could block it. We don't even have to. I think we just leave up Reign of Revelation. I don't need to face Fetters anything right now. Kind of have to attack at the card too. Because... Alright. So I can block the bird. And if they play a combat trick, it's like they die on the backswing. I think I block the bird. Like, they can play another combat trick. They're going to be using mana to do it. And they still have to find an answer for these two. Plus, we get Reign of Revelation end of turn. So we're drawing. So they geyser that thing, which is fine. We rain. Probably get rid of a land. Yeah. Wingmare too. So do we have two flyers? Not quite. So we play the Wingmare. It makes our stuff more expensive though. So do I want to do Teferi first? Yeah, I think we just go Teferi. I mean, this kind of... This puts him in a tough spot. Another option is to just go Savior, Fetters, Wingmare. Yeah, I mean, we probably just play the Savior this turn. Like, what are they going to do? Yeah, and then we can even play, like, Enforcer. Like, what? I don't know what they're going to do here. They really don't have luxuries at all. They're in big trouble. So we have protection. Their non-creature spells cost more mana. We have indestructible flyers. We're drawing cards every turn. I don't know what they can do here. Say they have a Burn Bright. Say they have two Burn Brights. They deal 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like, even with double Burn Bright there, they wouldn't have lethal. All right. We'll see you for round 3. All right, round 3. We got a great keep here. Watcher into Tide Skimmer. All right. The next turn, if our guys survive, we can attack in, we can leave up feet, we can draw a card. Kind of just want them to like pass the turn with open mana because we can just attack and we have protection. But they kind of have to kill something here. Yeah. So So that, I mean, that was a wise idea on their part. Not much they can do otherwise. So this is nice, actually. We can play the Charger, get in for 4, and we get to leave up Feat of Resistance, which is nice. So pushing through some damage. We've got protection. We can't Reign of Revelation, but these two together are just really nice too. Just really good options. Card advantage or protection. I mean, we can't do both right now, but I mean, just having 2 instant speed spells with like a... Instants are good is what I'm trying to say. If you've learned anything from Magic, instant speed spells are good. So Dowser getting back Geyser, that's good value. Makes sense. Solidarity is actually kind of really good here, actually. Because we're going to cast it, and we can attack with Charger. And if they block with Dowser, we can Feat, which I think is worth it. Because I'll trade a Feat for a Dowser, even though it got the Geyser back. And forcing them to use a Geyser while still pushing through damage. Pro blue. So we get damage through. They kind of have to use a Geyser on a Charger here. Or another removal spell. Dragonfire if they have it. Whatever. We're going to get to Reign of Revelation and possibly play a 2-drop. So we're doing a main phase Reign. And we'll sandbag the island, I think, because we may want to discard it. But yeah, they kind of have to... I guess I can kill Tide Skimmer now with Geyser, but then we're left with a huge beefy Charger. So this did put them in a difficult decision for at least for their Geyser. Because it's like, do you kill the flyer, or do you kill the... Or do you kill the bigger power creature that you can only chump block right now? And that's a tough choice. I don't know what the better option for them is. If they have another removal spell, that's a better choice. We're still going to get in. I'm guessing they're going to... so we can discard a... guess an island. They're probably going to chump block here. I mean, I don't know how you don't chump block there. We play a Pegasus. Then we've got Enforcer. So they're playing a Bolt Hound. Alright. So we play the Enforcer and we pass. We don't want to trade the Charger for the Bolt Hound. I guess I can play another land here. Alright, so they're playing a Hobble Fiend. Ripping lands is not good. I guess that we tap the Bolt Hound. And get in. Nothing I can do. Play a land and pass. I don't think there's a reason I should sandbag lands. No, there is to fairy, but at this point I'm still sandbagging one, so... I guess I can play everything in my deck, though, so I don't need to, I guess, play anymore. Alright. So they can get more value. They've got at least 2 spells in hand, otherwise I think they would have discarded lands pretty easily there. So, ripping land there, that might be the unfortunate nail in the coffin for us. I think we had a pretty good shot of winning this. We started off really strong, but when the Reign of Revelation didn't even bring us back in it, so I think that was the real turning point, the dilemma. We needed to like draw some huge gasoline off of Reign of Revelation. I don't think it did it. I mean, this is also just an unsustainable race at this point, too. So they're ahead on board, they're ahead on cards in hand. I guess that's nice. I can at least face Fetters. They can just sack in response, though. I can do it on their Hobble Fiend. That's true. Alright. I don't want to do it on their Hobble Fiend, but if they can sack everything else, to me it makes sense. Alright. Standard, pretty just standard is it deck. I mean, we're getting creamed by it, but I do feel like we can beat this deck. It really, especially with Friend Wingmare, but it really boiled down to just like we did nothing. I feel like we did nothing after turn 4 or 5. Like turn 5, I think was our last productive turn in this game. And what turn are we on now? 10, 11. So we had to fail quite a few times to do as bad as we're doing right now, especially with 10 flyers in our deck. Any spell and we die. Okay. So they have 3 wizardry. I hate when the game doesn't let you concede to like change, save some time. It doesn't even let you. What do we want? I don't like cancel against Goblin Wizardry because you have to leave the mana up and they can do it on your turn. They have at least 3 Goblin Wizardries. I don't like that either. They're going to be really good against our Daybreak Chargers. Watchdog might be better. I hate to say that because it's just not that ideal. Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't. What do we need? We need to not rip too many lands. We have plenty of ways to go gas in this deck, but we need to get it. Yeah, Charger's going to be really bad against the wizardry tokens. I do strongly dislike that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do instead. a watchdog over a charger. It just doesn't feel good. The battlements don't seem very good either because they can just remove everything else and then they can't even attack. Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't like how Charger looks against 3 Goblin Wizardries. I really don't like that. Alright, swap that. And maybe swap this. Alright. We don't get a white mana, we're gonna lose. We have a Lofty now. I don't want to risk it. Our deck is too good to get screwed by mana. Okay. So now we can go Niambe, don't bounce. I mean, another option is to play the Acolyte. I think we just start beating now, though. They've got the tome. I don't want to wait too long. I guess this is cool, but we're gonna do this. I think they're gonna start scrying now. Yeah. They're like, okay, time to scry. Alright. This is still just a 1/4. Yeah, we play the land. We get Pegasus. We can attack with all 3. They can double block the Acolyte, I guess, if they want. That's fine too. We'll trade the Hound for Niambe. We gain life. We get 4 damage in. We can Reign of Revelation. So their upkeep scrying, which is smart. They found something that they need, which is interesting. Maybe not need, but helps them here. Maybe just the Geyser now, which would put us in a much more difficult position, definitely. Or the Soul Seer. I mean, they have to deal with Watcher of Spheres. It's obvious. They could have Frost Breath. Oh, they discarded one. Doesn't mean they couldn't have another. So we'll draw our 3 cards, dump a land. Alright. So we can go They could kill our Acolyte, I guess. So we probably just attack with the Pegasus. We go to Fairy. Draw, discard. Guess we can play a land. Probably phase. Or I guess we can block and draw, discard again. They do have trample though. Probably phase. Does put it in shock range. I guess we'll phase. Getting back the Soul Seer, I guess. Or the Frost Breath. No, the Soul Seer. Okay. Yeah, missing land draw there is kind of a big deal. Or missing actual card there is kind of a big deal. Play the Sky Scanner. Enforcer, that's more bodies. That's good. So we'll get in. We're not going to play the land. We pass. So Augur's weaker now too, which is nice. We'll see how they attack. We still get to draw a discard. I don't know if I want to save. I mean, they have to devote some resources to kill Teferi here. So it might be better to just take our last loot and not sacrifice any creatures on board, because we can get in for more damage. I mean, they can... Alright, so they're not doing it to the Planeswalker, which is important to note. I can't do any more phasing, yeah. Alright. I might just loot again here. I want to see what I draw before I decide. Blocks. It's probably not worth it to save Teferi. Like, if they have another... I don't want to lose both of these, so I think Teferi has to die. If I block there and chump there and they have a spell, we kind of lose our whole board. I don't want that. Watchdog looks so terrible here. I'd so much rather have a Daybreak Charger, but that's all right. So I can tap the Sky Scanner and get in for 2. I don't want to wait. I can also... I could have attacked with all 3 and then probably traded. I don't know if that would have been better, actually. It's possible it could have been better. So yeah, I attack with all 3. They probably trade. I would lose a flyer, but they would have taken 1 extra damage. I don't know if that's better. My evasion is pretty important right now. I can't believe how many times I looted off of Teferi. 3 loots, and I feel like somehow I'm still behind here. I mean, granted, they've just hit the money pot on the honey pot on Dowsers with Soulseer. Done that I don't know how many times now. This is their 3rd time casting the same Soulseer this game. I feel like this was our game to lose, honestly. We had like every advantage given to us, and we're just not getting there. I mean, they're going to gain life. I feel like honestly, I feel like we really had to consecutively just rip land after land after land to lose this game this badly. Maybe, am I wrong? Did we really not draw that many lands? How many did we draw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 in the top 21. I mean, it's pretty bad. I guess it's not like something we haven't seen before. It's just we really needed to flood 2 games in a row, I think, to lose this badly against our opponent's deck. I think I just have to take a quadrillion. I don't know what else to do. Do we have Frost Breath in here? No, I can't even remember. I don't think we do. It's a block there. 5. That's not going to work. Basri's Solidarity probably still wouldn't be enough to keep me alive. I mean, their deck is nuts, too. I will give them that. Their deck is insane. But our deck was supposed to be quick, and I feel like we did not do anything quick this game at all. We were not quick at all. We're just going to get overwhelmed by Goblin Wizardries now. Maybe Swift Response isn't good in this matchup. No, we're supposed to be flying over top, and we're not. Like, our deck has 10 flyers, and we saw 2. We saw 2 of our 10... No, that's not true. 3 of our 10 flyers in the top 21. That's a pretty low amount. We saw vastly less than half of our flyers in the top 22 cards of our deck. That's pretty bad. So let's see. Swift Response to Dowser. We're at 7. Jump here. And then we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they have anything, we die. But if I block, it's trample anyway. We kind of have to do this. All right. So we got crushed. I loved our deck. I really would have liked to have taken the draft here, but it's a sign. It wasn't meant to be. We looted 3 times off Jace. We saw way too few flyers. We got flooded 2 games. There's nothing we could do. Our opponent's deck was nuts. I mean, that doesn't help either. Our opponent's deck was insanely good too. But I guess I'm more disappointed because I feel like our deck did not do what it was completely geared to do in either of those games. We just like did not keep the cycle going there when we had so much. Like, did we even get to play a Gaggle Master? I can't remember now. That whole match. Ooh, Baneslayer. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you for the next one.